Everyone, welcome to Law Simple and Pure. In today's lecture, we are going to learn Salmon's theory on law of tort, which is also called as pigeonhole theory. If there is a question in exam, please explain pigeonhole theory, or if it is there for short note, or explain Salmon's theory, please provide following points. What is the concept of pigeonhole? Second, foundation of tortious liability as per pigeonhole theory. What is pigeonhole theory or Salmon's theory? Supporting opinion for Salmon's theory. Indian scenario. So what happens in India, whether we follow this theory in India or not, and then we have to conclude. Before explaining next slide, let me explain you the concept of pigeonholes. Okay, you all know pigeons, kabutar. They stay in their slots. Similarly, in case of law of torts, parties, they have to fit their tort in specific slots. Okay, so specific slots means specific torts which are made by judiciary. For example, trespass, okay, or assault, defamation. So fix or fit your case in these pre-decided torts. If your case doesn't fit in these holes or in these torts, then you will get no remedy. Easy to write logic. For example, in IPC various crimes are defined. If a new crime, okay, happens, court cannot say that we are not going to entertain this crime because it doesn't fit in IPC, right? A new law will be made. Like Vishakha's case, no law on sexual harassment was there, so new law was provided by judiciary. Judiciary didn't say that we are not going to entertain this case because we do not have any law on this. Same is about pigeonhole theory, and this theory is not applicable in India. So let us see what are the foundations of tortious liability as per pigeonhole theory. There is a difference of opinion among jurists as to what constitutes the foundation of tortious liability. There are two theories about the basic principle of liability. Wider theory is provided by Winfield, which provides that all injuries done by one person to another are torts, unless there is some justification recognized by law or not. So whether it is recognized by law or not doesn't matter. If wrong happens, remedy should be provided. Second theory is pigeonhole theory, which is provided by Salmond. There is a definite number of torts outside which liability in tort does not exist. It means fit your case in these slots. If you cannot fit your case in this slot, you will get no remedy. So this is a pigeonhole theory. As I told you earlier, Salmon's theory is called as pigeonhole theory. So if there is a question on Salmon's theory, same theory. Okay, if there is a question on pigeonhole theory, it means Salmon's theory only. Okay, so as per Salmon, there is no general principle of liability, and if the plaintiff must place defendant's wrong in one of the pigeonholes, each containing a labeled tort, he will succeed. Okay, so labeled torts are there. Fit your case in these labels. If you cannot fit your case in these labels, you will get no remedy. According to Salmon, there were only specific well-defined wrongs which can be termed as torts. He was against the generalization of torts into law of tort. He proposed that an act can be termed as a tort and a legal remedy is available for the same only if the said act falls within the specified well-defined wrongs. If act doesn't fall in pigeonhole, then there it is not a tort. So according to Salmond, it's law of torts. But what is a reality in India? It is a law of tort. Tort is a bigger term than torts. Let us see who supported Salmond's theory or pigeonhole theory. Mr. Jenks supported Salmond's theory, and it has been said that Salmond does not imply that the courts cannot create new torts, but such torts cannot be created unless they are substantially like those which are already in existence. It means same, but he supported Salmond's theory. In the 17th edition, Salmond's editor, okay, he commented that Salmond was actually misinterpreted by his critics, since he never committed himself to the proposition that the categories of torts are closed and that the law of torts is there and not law of tort. So he provided that new pigeonholes can be created. So Salmond was misrepresented or misinterpreted by the critics. Now we saw that certain people, they supported Salmond's theory and they said that critics misinterpreted Salmond. Now let us see criticism of actual Salmond's theory. The idea of confining torts into a set of pigeonholes is unsound, as the law of tort is continuously expanding, which is evident from the decision of Donoghue versus Stevenson. So in Donoghue versus Stevenson, it was provided that law is there to provide justice. right? If you cannot fit your case in a particular area, you cannot get remedy. This is not a right strategy, and torts can be evolved, new torts can be made. Many scholars feel that this theory is narrow, rigid and unmindful to a fault with regard to future development in field of tort of law. So people criticized it as a narrow theory, and yes, it is. Salmon's theory or pigeonhole theory is a narrow theory. As per Winfield, all injuries done to a person are torts unless there is justification recognized by law. In other words, tort consists of not merely of those wrongs which have acquired specific names but also include the wider principles. Okay, so all wrongs which are not contract or which do not come under any other law are torts. Whether it fit in certain area or not, it doesn't matter. Remedy has to be provided. What is the Indian scenario? Whether it is law of tort or law of torts. Now remember, it is law of tort. Okay. Tort is a wider term than torts. Tort includes every type of tort. So in India, Salmon's theory or pigeonhole theory is not applicable. We follow Winfield's theory, and according to Winfield's theory, it is law of tort. So it is law of tort in India. Okay, in MC Mehta versus Union of India, Justice Bhagwati supported Winfield and he opposed Salmon or pigeonhole theory. We have to evolve new principles and lay down new norms which will adequately deal with new problems which arise in a highly industrialized economy. We cannot allow our judicial thinking to be constricted by reference to the law as it prevails in England. We are certainly prepared to receive light from whatever source it comes, but we have to build our own jurisprudence. So Bhagwati Justice provided that if support is not found in English cases, we are not supposed to follow it. We can evolve our new jurisprudence. We can evolve new torts. Now let us conclude. In India, law of torts is still developing. In India, it is actually a law of tort and not torts. Indian judiciary supports Winfield's theory. It's law of tort as well as law of torts. Now we can say that yes, it is a combination of torts plus tort. It is evolving also, and old torts are also respected by Indian judiciary, or old cases are also followed. So you can conclude in your way, okay, but fact remains that in India we do not support pigeonhole theory in a strict sense, but we believe in creating new torts, and that's why Indian judiciary supports Winfield's theory. Okay, so this will be your answer. Try to cover each and every point. Now stay tuned till my next lecture, and please leave your comments. I need your comments whether you liked this lecture or not. Do you want me to improve, or do you want me to include more case laws? So your suggestions and comments are most welcome. Stay tuned till my next lecture. Goodbye and good luck. So far we discussed civil law legal system and common law legal system in its purest form. We discussed some dilution of these systems as well. So if there is a question in examination, you have to provide about what is common law legal system, what is civil law legal system, what is the origin of common law legal system, and what is the origin of civil law legal system, which types of rules are followed in both the systems, then comparative study of these systems by giving appropriate examples from acts of the parliament, from constitution or from case laws, and then you have to provide today's dilution of these legal systems or how they are combined in different countries. So far we discussed civil law and common law legal system, which is a very important topic in comparative law. So if you have any doubts, please mention your doubts, or if you want me to explain about any other topic in law, please provide for the topic. I'm going to provide lots of other legal topics and coming up with other like law topics for UPSC and MPSC students as well. So stay tuned till my next lecture. Goodbye and good luck.